aboye mahwefo nyina ajo emomakwaba Diamond Kaseɛ so ene eye ayehumobosome da etoso eduonu ensom won fempemienu ni eduonu enan mu ensama ekoso ewo maimu ene amahodro system ene nanwumre yabone beda ye de ba besom ewo Diamond Kaseɛ so ensama bedi akotene ewo kasebo ni bi ene se Professor Jenana Opoku Ajiman etrese esese Ghana mpanyifo nyina wo kasa etia basabasa yo ewo afia pato ye ba betu emu
2024 abato no enye kasa nemom eyewunwuma we efri on 150 kwete eho
ni ebe free afia bato e ma bebia no ejina enkranmantem we efri gamanche aseye
dom kuma ewo mrahebedwamu ede sobo ebo dom kese no
ye ina ensama hudo bi ene nanwumre ya boabo na ye de ba besom ewo Diamond Kaseɛ so agudie ensem mo manage ensem mo nyina no ya bone beda ye de ba besom ewo Diamond Kaseɛ so ye de aseda ebe ma Diamond Ground Real Estate Diamond Ground Travel and so wo mo ebo ye chidoma ende nwumre ye de kasebo e ba besom afen so Ben Light Enterprise Asaraji Enterprise aseda fabrics ene Hajias Clay Empire wo nyina nso wo bo ye chidoma ene nwumre ye de kasebo e ba besom akenkanfo eye me mausiponya menimi nuaba
afia afrempoma
ye na ye ho embra ye ba ye de kasebo ni chiremu ebesom Machefo nyina akwaba biom Diamond Kaseɛ so enye afei kasebo ne nchiremu eni chechofu penyi edema NDC amanyoko no fififi abikwete eden sembi atudwa wo chiremu se ekonu nko ade ase ye ka aban a chese womba abemu a wambebo won homodin ye kra wonyama eye basabasade a na eye NPP amanyoko no wode sansem nyina atudwa ewo ye Channel 1 TV eso.
Between message and then machine, as General Secretary and Campaign Coordinator, are you more fixated with, so is this election more about what the issues are or how the counting and the easy things go? Do you get my point? Is it more about what people want to do in terms of voting or more about making sure people turn out, the ballot is secured and all of these operational machination things?
All right. I would say both are going to be critical. We simply have to ensure that the message remains right. Because you need to constantly understand that election is all about winning hearts and minds. And the way to do it is to be able to articulate your message in a way that you can give confidence to the people. Especially when we're talking about a country where there seems to be a massive erosion in the trusts of the populace. You need to be able to calibrate your message in a way to be able to restore hope and let them know that, listen, we have a plan, which plan will be able to, as it were, help to restore the country to the place it ought to be. But the second part, which really have to do with machinery, and which of course combine also with men, I mean, of course, men and women, those two are very much together. A machinery that, as it were, have to be pushed through by human resource. In this particular election, that second part is going to be absolutely critical. Because remember, we're dealing with a political party that is not an easy party to take out of power. In 2008, I mean, you were covering, so you do know. Even in that election, which everybody would have said after 8 years normally should be relatively easy for the opposition to win. it was not an easy election for us to win. I mean, we did everything we can in terms of our messaging. We did everything in terms of machinery. But even in those final moments, even the strong room of the Electoral Commission, we nearly were losing the election. So I think the Kufuor NPP, in opposition, we basically said they were really not a very good political government. But if you compare the Kufuor NPP to the current one that we have, this iteration of the NPP is the worst, in my view, that we've ever had. It's also the most desperate. And because it's the most desperate, we anticipate that we do have to expect the worst coming from them. Now, if in the strong room of the Electoral Commission 2008, they did what they did to try to steal the election in that final moment, we believe that this particular iteration of NPP is going to do far worse. So our machinery and the men who are pushing the machinery, the whole engineering, have to be absolutely top-notch, because we are dealing with people who will stop at nothing.
General Secretary NDC Amenyo Kuono onwonya for fifi abikote edi nsem bia to just say afi abato no enye kasa na yewunyuma awoye.
Recently, the flag bearer of the NPP said that this election is going to be about ideas. I'm sure you heard him.
Yes.
This election is going to be ideas. Let me tell you what this election is going to be about. This election is not going to be ideas. It's going to be about principles. It's going to be about values. It's going to be about track record, and track record that is anchored on what they call credibility. So this election is going to be asking the fundamental question of whether Ghanaians need to start, as it were, looking at the principles and the values of those who are in leadership. Why? Because they've seen 8 years that were ushered in with massive promises across all levels. Promises relating to how we could literally transform the economy of Ghana in 18 months. Promises regarding how we can move this country from taxation to production. Promises regarding how we can give to every constituency $1 million. Promises regarding how every village can have one dam in order to transform the agriculture for our country. Promises regarding how the free SHS was going to bring about quality transformation in our educational sector. Those are the fundamental things. And in 8 years, what we've seen today is an economy that literally has been run aground. An economy that is on its knees, an economy that has become a junk economy, an economy where the debt level has reached such level that we cannot believe, an economy that is marked with suffering, pain, an economy where businesses are on their knees and struggling, an economy where there's a lot of disappointment. Now, so what it is that this election is about, it's not about talk. You know what? Anyone can talk. You and I were in this country not too long ago. We had Men's Gold. And Men's Gold was talking about some very creative capacity to be able to let people do investment and make a lot of money. So talk is cheap. Talk is easy. Any crook, any liar can come up with ideas. The real essence of leadership is a capacity to have the principle to be able to say things and mean them.
Gaman checking Taki te kochu our tosumienu and I didn't send the abetuja watch say. After about say about betri, the very more baby are edgina and kind pumpuni mantem so. What a son send me to Jawa Bracofa by Edema New Force, a manukono, Eden and Slash, a copiemu, a one of here.
A proper step, process. And for us to attain it, we must be convinced by where it's taking us. It's standing a mile away from your opponent who is speaking on top of his voice things that you would never say in 3 whole years. But you would hear it and still, for the sake of peace alone, overlook it. That is when you have attained that mark of democracy. When people speak what they want to speak, when people say what they want to say, that because of peace, yet when Jole he walk, offer more down. Yeah, Keshi Oshimo Beye.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keshi Opeko Chichi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keshi Jenu Jo.
Yeah.
But Keha ni twin Jole.
Yeah.
Kabama.
Yeah.
War. Umiongo no war.
Yeah.
No kekio.
Yeah.
That is where we need to get to. That is where we have come to, because this year's election, Accra will decide.
Again, I spoke it.
Accra will decide.
Wisdom.
And I want to say this, that it's about the most important election in the whole of the Fourth Republic. But we need to understand that we are Ghanaians. And we need to understand that we must restrain ourselves from being used to hurt each other.
Dom kuma ewo brashe bedwamu de sompo ebo dom kese a ewo ho enum se onfa hihye bia efa free SHS no ho ento aso embeto wonanim wo de nsem we atudwa abra na wo hia ensemtrofo.
I see nothing but desperation. I see desperation on the part of the ruling party to create some form of disaffection for NDC MPs, creating impressions that the NDC members of parliament are against a bill that is not even before parliament, a bill that we have not seen, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, how can we oppose something that we have not seen? How can the NDC oppose a bill that we have not seen? I heard them say that the bill is on its way to Parliament. For how long will this bill take from Flagstaff House to Parliament House? Weeks? Months? 7 years? Mr. Speaker, if it's coming from Ministry of Education, it's even closer. For how long is it going to take for the bill to move from the Ministry of Education to the Parliament House? 7 years? 8 years? 1 week? Mr. Speaker, let me put on record that the NDC minority members of Parliament, of which I lead, Mr. Speaker, we will support free SHS bill that was seek to improve the quality of education.
Mr. Speaker, the leader of our party, the minority leader, and all of us spoke clearly, stating that whenever the bill is introduced in Parliament, we shall do whatever it takes to make the bill work so that we can improve the free SHS and make it sustainable. Mr. Speaker, we woke up this morning, another syndicated or whatever you call it, I read here, Accra Times, Afenyo Maki yells at minority, you are not ready for free SHS. Mr. Speaker, listen. Afenyo Maki yells at NDC, you are not ready for free SHS. Mr. Speaker, a bill. Mr. Speaker, there's no free SHS bill in this house.
He hasn't said anything untoward. And many occasions, the leader has given signal of bills and agreements that are in the offing and are on their way to this house. I don't know why my colleague and my respected whip is so worried. He shouldn't worry. As for the bill, it will come. That one, there's no problem. We only pray that when it comes, we only pray that when it comes, they will support in unison. It will not be the case that Honorable Ablakwa will be saying something, the Chief Whip will be saying something different, and Samsiahi will also be saying something different, and then the leader of the minority leader will also be saying something. They should consult among themselves. I pray that they should consult among themselves.
2024 general election running mate Edema John Dramani Mahama Onimonyamfo na Professor Jenana Opoku Ajimai and Eden Sembi Atum Penifo wo oman nyina enim se bibi biara wo behu wo hu bia no esese wo kasa etia basabasa yo na afen so mentime ho ase wo afi abato ye ba betu eho
sisi ade ko na na yesbesre mo ye nyina enim se a tete na kagana de mi fotro mi din kwa so weda na adu moja kofi ana we da ne bi amane kofi so we bread wo hospital entisa ni nyina na nhihye ya ebeto ye de bekugu akwam obi abeti ase ni ebehu sasa no so ye kako obi afa pepepe esa ni ehu se pepe ye na wo mu a ene de ebeko bia na waje atu
ye ni unim dia wo entity ya wo dia tete akuninifo ansa na ukọ wa homu a wode wo ebehye politics watiti mo fra bebre pani bebre na adwene a wowɔ no ɛno na mesrɛ sɛ nyame boa na bibia kɔ no kwan so a wode ɛbɛboa ne yɛpagya Ghana man ama Ghana man anya ne nkɔso.
United Nations Resident Coordinator Wagana Hanom, Mr. Charles Abani, and so Eduafutu Senbi Akko Amma. Civil society for nyina say, one crow on Mudiemu Ewa Bato Bremu Sene Beya, Obi Enfesika Embedada Womo, what is it Eldin Semi Etu Edra Abra, na all year 2024 Civil Society Organization.
Ghana's democracy is advancing, and one of the key indicators of that is it is increasingly issues-based. And so positioning oneself around issues rather than political parties, I think allows the legitimacy of the points to be made across the board. And so if you look at ideology, figuring out what is the ideology and what is it that we're trying to achieve. And I think I said in my statement actually that I'm almost agnostic to who achieves it, as long as we achieve these things. And these important things are equality, inclusion, the ability for everybody to have a prosperous world. And by aligning sometimes around political interests, we tend to get ourselves boxed and caged. And so it's important for civil society to remain unhandcuffed in that particular conversation by ensuring that it speaks constructively to the issues that need to be addressed.
Position civil society organizations as non-partisan. Obia won vote, but as civil society organizations, we are supposed to be non-partisan because we play a very key role in the elections. Star Ghana has been organizing debates for the presidential election candidates, for the parliamentary candidates. CDD has been observing what takes place at the polling stations. If we are seen to be aligned with one side or the other, it affects our ability to promote credible and peaceful elections. So I think what he has said is in order. CSOs, they are not always NGOs. If one political party comes together and says they want to, one political party comes out to say that we want to set up a CSO to amplify our message, there's nothing wrong with it. So if you choose to be non-aligned, then be non-aligned. But if you are aligned, there's nothing wrong with it.
Ewe ashafo yebe home kase bonusu na yakoje aboafo nkrato aba yebe to aso.
Light Enterprise. I wa so kind City Light Junction. In no maybe I do mujuma tail light, headlight, front and back bumpers, front grill, down grill. There's also on side light neutral gators. There's on fog light and so. Either light na spec light, charger, normal, American type, Japan type, China, Nina, your party now of the Light Enterprise. Where they trauma some beba abuso kind City Light Junction, mother should share the Light Enterprise, na money juma. Timinia, the one person to do no one can some cotton so. You wholesale sakesi, I have to your mama. I the man conform person to. No more cotton. Yes, answer delivery nationwide. Say a Christian, a Kumasi, a Takrade, a North, a Taka, a Honey, delivery ma. I did be a person fan spare car. Your shame, say, only the Light Enterprise about Baby Juma. Your special discount via my Diamond TV at your phone into fair numbers to now cast off a number no Diamond TV. Your special discounts via your Tisudma. Your showing himself on the Light Enterprise Baby Yoduba. The Light Enterprise, your satisfaction is our priority.
So who Ben Light Enterprise a trap find ya wo aboso kan City Light Junction Honoma and as obit me a friend penny for 0247 888591 and 0245 966 186. 0599-640-186 and number 0530-122-484. Ben Light Enterprise Sebra. Na yen spec your car and farm.
Yamashefo nyina aju ebiom na yetwa kasebo nso dia na ranking member of Financial Committee of Parliament onimonyamfo Isaac Adongo ene den sembi abetudwa wo kiremu se eye 1.5 billion Ghana cedis aban ejemu se yemfama banks ahodo a yegu won no enye nokre anase nokre biara eni sarasem no na eye amanyosem agudi na wodi no ebi eno no.
I did a lecture at Kama Conference Center. And at that program, I told you that I had received a call from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama saying that I should tell the people of Ghana that when he wins power, he will pay everybody. You remember? Immediately they went and issued papers. You remember that? They gave everybody a bond. Do you remember that? What happened to the bonds? 2024 is another election. They've forgotten that 2020 they made that promise. People have even forgotten where the papers are lying. You remember when SEC used Consolidated Bank, that disgraced bank, that is almost like a Susu shop, that they should come, people who have them should come and register, and I told them that they don't even have that capacity because those companies have not been liquidated. And per our securities laws, you can revoke your the license which you have degraded, but the assets of the company are not yours. The assets of the company are vested in the hands of the Registrar General, who must go to court to be appointed a liquidator of the company and then agree how to dispose of the assets of the company and distribute the assets of the company. So on what basis are you asking people to come and register their interests? You don't have the mandate. You remember I said that? Hasn't it come to pass? Some of you thought that it was politics I was doing. In 2021, in the budget, under other government obligations, they budgeted for 5.5 billion Ghana cedis to pay off those fund managers, people who were owing, they were owing on those transactions. They budgeted 5.5 billion. Not even a dime was released. So how can you budget 5.5 a couple of years ago? You have not paid the debt. And this time, you haven't paid, but the debt becomes 1.5. At the time you said 5.5, it was 8 billion. And you said at least we will pay them in tranches. So let's do 5.5 in 2021. 2022, it disappeared from the budget. Then suddenly the president who has brought a budget here and has been approved without provision says that I will conjure some 1.5 billion outside of the appropriation. I am going to commit even an illegality, even though we don't even trust you. So how did 5.58 billion become 1.5?
Deputy Minister of Roads and Highways, Onwanyamfo Frederick Obeng Adom, Ede Ensembi Atu Abayenim say, Ebe ya woman ani enko ya kwan ho eye pa. what the same way to draw a bra power DVLA training manual no won't cry.
It is very much concerned about the fatalities and injuries on our roads. Though the available statistics for last year indicates some positive gains, one life lost is too many. We must therefore strive for a positive road safety culture and work towards a common agenda of halving fatalities. Although these documents are important guides to training and capacity building of drivers, if vehicle owners continue to place more importance in their earnings over safety, we shall not make much progress. I therefore charge the DVLA, the National Road Safety Authority, and the Police MTTD and all stakeholders in the road safety space to rope vehicle owners in their safety campaigns to ensure a holistic approach to dealing with carnages on our roads.
To all intents and purposes, safety remains our paramount concern. Annually, Ghana suffers substantial economic losses due to road traffic crashes, amounting to 1.6% of our GDP. The hemorrhaging is huge. Heavy goods vehicles carry significant loads, often over long distances, posing risks not only to the driver, but also to other road users. Mitigating these risks demands adherence to rigorous road protocols and continuous training. The manual integrates best practices in safety management, ensuring that every driver is well equipped for safety at every turn.
Standard in Ghana, we've concentrated our efforts more firmly in Accra and Tema, which is the logistical centre. As you know, we've got a new inland container depot opening up in Boankra in the Ashanti region, which has attracted many transporters. So this year we're going to be going up into that region to move the training standard up there and building capacity with the transporters there so that they are also able to drive in accordance with this standard.
You review a lot of documents asana it meets international standards. As a trainee will be Ghana under this document here, Sanipa also to make cacao sub-region. Senior Saka and also Okaya, you can say, because Ceciano ye borders for other countries to come, a very important say, you harmonize your standards. As our documents, I take that into consideration.
Minister of the Interior Onumonyam for Henry Kote and I didn't send be abetija what you say. Aban airborne humodin biara say wabebwa ama inruboni dwedie a ekoso e wiase afane nyina ano ebebre ase. What is sansemi etudwa e 2024 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking Jumedie no ase.
The recent UNODC program Nostra, and as a result of that, we were able to, as it were, inform the world and also demonstrate beyond all reasonable doubts our position and policies and reforms that were put in place in fighting drugs. I wish to call on all Ghanaians, civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, traditional authorities, non-governmental organizations, and individual citizens to lend support to the law enforcement agencies in the fight against the drug canker. Government is committed and will continue to provide the needed resources to the Narcotic Control Commission and other security agencies to perform their mandates efficiently, thereby ensuring the safety and security of all Ghanaians.
As we commemorate this day in Ghana, it is imperative to highlight that Ghana Narcotics Control Commission is resolute in its commitment to creating a drug-free society through comprehensive policies, effective enforcement, preventive initiatives, and both local, regional, and international cooperation. As we reflect on our achievements and challenges on this auspicious occasion, let us renew our collective determination to safeguard our communities from the scourge of drugs.
P. Emma Bolsa South constituency ewo Upper East region. On for Clement Abbas edi adesrede ato abaya nim se ebeya woman aso enko teacher training college a teacher for ensema worker eso and afa so West Africa Examination Council so ensema worker na wonya wapede enfama won.
Majority side of parliament, if they are minded to worry about education, they should be calling on government to meet its obligations to the teachers of our public colleges of education. The teachers of the public colleges of education have been on strike today for 12 days. Teaching and learning has come to a standstill in our colleges of education, all because government is failing to meet its obligation to the teachers of the public colleges of education. This is what we expect the majority leader and his side to take up. The majority leader and his side should be worried about the fact that government owes WAEC, and because of that, WAEC is struggling to find resources so that it can properly organize this year's BECE exam, which would commence on the 8th of next month. That is what they should be worried about. Rather than telling government to pay WAEC the full 80 million Ghana cedis, government has only paid 47 million Ghana cedis. And yet the same majority has lied to Ghanaians that government has paid 80 million Ghana cedis, which is untrue. These are the matters that they should be worried about.
Sememo 4-hour walk Kubekrom number 1 enu walk bon Katamanso abatwo empeswa so ene de adesade to aban enim se enkebe ya wonwa na wontumi enko entia langard 4-hour ha won ewo important ho
ya wo how pa sese ni hawani editro langard haye bra me na da ye bre so usu dan wusu dan ba be se me kura bra ma bra se metimi abetena no wuti fie kura ye bokokoko efie wa twa fence wo no omutimi wuram so wo ye adwuma de obeye biara omba beju eso mu wura ho e be kire wo se omna asase yo modea enye nipa baako we beba ukọ fufuro beba te say de bia nam fufuro eba han say enti ha de langard de ye bre pa
an Roberts high dream pa afen so ye bridge ni nyina say enso to say ya enkwala ni ntimi nko school age ye fa okada fo nso charge bebre enti ye sra ban say ye kwan na enye no omombra no omombe boa yen afen so no ye ni nsuo wa hanum say pipe ho ya den pa esi ya nsuo gallon ba ko 4 cedis ye bre
ye ka road say wo mantemu hadie menya sure say ye road meka say ye dam because a 1 meter road, one big dam. Because every day be a car say wa hanging now be so be a car I say TCC and moto from junction just be a 2 meters kilometer road, you know. Yet your motor fee from junction to be a Ubekobiano 10 cedi 20 cedis into your road say wa hanging to asase na wo pepa nso no baba no na langa so no be so we adwuma na eno no be ye serious issue ama ya sorry ebo me prepare nkrofo ase nkrofo agapade na ade na ana ma community no eni abredenden ase yem pene malanga for embe say enen kunkum nimpa ese agapade
no kwa langa sam no lokokodo no ha bi bebre senti de ubebo modia na wato wasase na asase a obeto na enda na woyaba media ochina na woyaba media na emunsam emu atete wo mu de wonsom na yinipa ya so ye boye homodin ye yesre aban ombaso yase ye ka kwan road a branch ba ya yen kubekrom number 1 number 2 no ensanyi yesre ye ya famu de pa yesre nso maboa yen sa hwia no de be mayo sa cement no de be mayo ade biara de be mayo biara no ye be som na yeso ya hwe ma kwan bi otedam aye fine
many mpanifo bebre adi nkomo nyema gu akwam but I na politics of boshe many nye ho because afe na meba enti de ma ho de beso no na meba ye se akwanya ne badia na se ye ye wotu mi ne ye be ye but say no de ayanamuntu ne yetu na numpo na can assure you say ye behunu impuntu before December, not for election but because somebody started talking.
Assemblies of God asorma wo adoato eduman Kumase ayo ye kire etia asori mpanyimfo wo kire mu a wo sofo wo pena sempa e na asori mpanyimfo yi ayi na firi hodi akọ asori foforo enti wo ye kire se na ebe ya omude osofo no ebe ba asori nim ebiu
sinti ajanfi me wa Abundant Life Assemblies of God wo hyan adomanu na de wo mu nyina ne se na ye ni abra ya boko jamu ya boko pini mu ne tuntum mu no ni nyina ne se ya sofo Reverend Stephen Amenu wakwa na ho mediem na sa na obekọ no nso no watete ne ba Reverend Bismarck Opoku ama asanko wo mesi nanan no wo mesi nanan nyina no Ashanti West Ashanti region Assemblies for so for penny renga mo nyina ka ho wo mse wo mo mpene da ema Bismarck ma na yeso ene de enti abo mu nyina ne se yeso ya mpene da ema so foforo bia ma ha enti na namu se ya boko jamu ya boko binimu no yesi ya mpene da sofu bia ni wono ma obesi ya sei wo ma ko fa sofu bi sofu ajekum na wo mo bai no wo ma ado mo na mum da muika e na ekọ mo di soldier any police nyina aka ho asoli ayeye no e de na chesa mo fa soldier ni police nka ho eti ye de ya ha nyina ne se enye se bibi ha ye wa asoli mu ya mpene mu obi fra bonten e ma me wura ya dan ni mu ya dan no ye ni ana yesi enye Pentecost de district de show mo gigi scan wo masi we de ye ni ya kire yam ni ya de asi mo ba yesi mo hu ya dan na se ka Bismarck wo ha sofu Bismarck wo ha e ka sa be ki aduru ani mu ye yesi ni ye be dem o ye sia menchirima da ache na mo nyame asofu omponie mo na mo se mo di anim de akọ heaven mo se mo di anim de akọ heaven omponie God will punish them.
Me did the Beatrice Buampon. May you tuni wo Assemblies of God Abundant Life. Me baye ben fie mi ense ni so sofo Bismarck de waya ma asafo no enu an ye po ye mpe sofo foforo bia sofo ajakum o sofo hwaye o ye se ye mpo bia sofo Bismarck onu an ye pe papa de wo ye nyame ni pa kronkron to onu an ye pe Abundant Life ye ni gene ho ye feel the star bia
original sofo menu secretary sofo kono wodi mi ja sofo Bismarck eti me pacha wo mu amuhwa de ekeka koi eye se ya tete ye ba emfie du num ni sofo nyame nwusra won so wodi ye ni namu paibo mu sa papa ye ni abre ye pam chow asofofo no se so tu fuo se ho ahwani ye de ye nim obi a ye de ye nim asafo awrade eni ye sofo Bismarck nti o mo fa ye sofo maye anya sa obi eni wo betimi de sofo esi amema ta ya na meka sofo Bismarck ani nya pedama
ye bejina ensemi so akwaje aboafo nkrato abaye ba hakudie mu nsem ebeto aso
adije na beda onu eya dipa na nya dufi
unse amamre ni amane ntutu nase se na wo se di dufi be bia bia wa abra adepa na wo so bia bia panifo se ni abia da wa mfanto ofieto eto wo se tri di shehi
panifo so ko gwa mi na hu de ba sa wona wo yire matana ma ye bibia da pase boni bia ni wa chawe eti me masama meka na wo yakola wo jato se fa wo yire na chi se adina e kabama ka peni beta na kote wechi beta na ko hemet promotia eti wo mi o fa mpa bo sha na ye de mother she shouldn't ever in her life put on anything that belongs to me in this house again. What is it? This year and then yet ampa
it's better than sacrifice a faith. And you who so when you are
see I do for you. I can't
body and the crime.
Ah,
Me chance e mo dia.
Ofo no, obebua eyi wo nua na efiro.
Amadi village. At the sea.
Yes.
What's wrong? Now what's the thing?
I want him back. If you supposed to put pressure man.
Sir.
The person made the man.
I'm your doctor.
Enyumire bedroom, hall, kitchen. They say backyard nyina bi bebia. Enye se meyi me na me gbebu suana bro.
Se mama me so.
What dan this na okiti na makiti dan.
Na den, me nye penny. Me ho eduamente.
Yadiaba. Abusiafo ane mumu mi ana ese mumu se eye niema hyehye ntomam ne nema kwasa mi bedani nyina edi atwew. Paul Amantem ne yesia dikanfo ye besia dikanfo esen wo asin wo mu biem. So wonim say ye wadamfo ene ye wadamfo. Enya damfo na enya nua nyina na woni ni free of you. Ye wo bo ho ampa odo wo yie pa. Wei eye series for kra ye de ebro enkensu. Yade ebro e wo Diamond TV eso. Yeto ni din dai any bre. Eye Monday to Friday. Sa program we. Once I me wo so me ho. Once I say na me wo so me ho no. Ese se wo hu se sa program we yade bre wa. Program a ye besua de wo. Na ye yiwia ye wie yo. Ane me say ye yiwia ye wie yo. Ejadifo ye gbawura apadeso ho. Mo amoto wade be bibiara mo bo chenku no. Ane ye bepa ho. Unim ade ba ko ye me de e wo ho ne se yanu de ne de omo nchiro ba we de ye ntu ye bo ase ye yi from Monday to Friday ye wi a Sunday no ye tena se 7 o'clock ye yi ni nyina ye wi nso ani akọcha tru ai wenti ene ya pamfo ana se ye guest ebetena se ne esinkunya ne ye biebiem apapa mu adomo asuko na wonso wafre wonya akonya ai wobenya akonya na wonso wafre na wonso de wasem aba na in case wo hwe movie ni kwa wie a menia ya hwe movie na wie no wo de afre ya bisa question bi na utimi twade a enya akyade de bebrebe menia Diamond TV we series we one shot why ya ho Paul Amantem ne esi adikanfo
Amazing, can this be real? It's like I'm living a dream, but it's how everyone feels.
Alright, so my memory be out Joe from Diamond Cassia, so I could you say when I hear it to us so and my canna send so say a high yes to me live our Facebook with dear marriage so Isaac Dankwa Dako Kapene this year. Away for Aseda Diamond Grounds Real Estate now fence so Diamond Grounds travel and tour one more and you know one good them seven now made it ever so you coco Pimo our Mrasebe Jum now say a technical director at my Ghana Football Association or run it a professor I am in ta and so the same kaka at Asuja for my Ghana your talent is say yet me ya send a bay academy do na ibet me players net me abwa my Ghana Football as it me ya net mapa et me fra.
The whole long-term goal or target is to unearth talents, develop talents, and develop the youth for our youth national team so that we can feed into the senior national team. For the short-term project is to scout the northern regions, the 3 northern regions, in terms of the talent that they have, Upper East, Upper West, and northern region, and put them in the academy, which is set up in Congo with Bolga Secondary School, Big Boss. We have already started the process to establish a second one in Ashanti region, Kumasi specifically, which will comprise of Brown Ahafo region and then Ashanti region. Students recruited from the basic schools to that academy. And then the same year, this 2024, we are opening another one in Greater Accra region. Hopefully it will be in Pram Pram. Then going forward, the target is to get every region one academy. So in all, we are looking at the 10 regional football regions. So maybe in the next 5, 6, 7 years, each region will have its own academy. And that is where you can assemble all the best talents for each region. And then from there, we tap from the pool, and then they feed the youth national teams, and then grow to be part of the senior national teams for both boys and girls. My long-term goal is that Ghana should not run out of talent. Ghana should be the chain. The supply chain should keep going. And as a
all right, we Professor down and as we okay. My Ghana send a baby to talent do na in football mo. Na referee Alex Court copy mo so asempa I didn't send baby na akotoja ni nya na say my Ghana football ebetimi nya na tumapa etimi fa ma bia so etimi akoya just say football do na say officiation yetimi yi our television so send a baby etimi aboy na Ghana ye football na fen so referee so no money more as etimi akona ni me
ye benya nka ye matches in your life
ni nyina anye live
any life match any life match. You see, because when there's a live match, the attention, the focus is on you. So you also not want to go and do anything, you know, ebe sell integrity and answer. And to say match is in your life, but here again, it is up to the sponsors. The sponsors, anything say they cannot show all the matches. We can show about 4 matches. We cannot show this and that sort of thing. So I think that going forward, say if we can expand a little bit to get more coverage, more live coverages now, that's the first thing that I want to talk about. The second thing has to do with the referees themselves.
Okay.
The referees themselves. I always tell them, say, leave refereeing with a good name. Leave refereeing with a good name. Who feel referee man? Film Senebeya, Ubi who baby, or say, oh, as for this boy, when he was a referee, he was like this, he was like that, he was like that. You understand? If you are able to put that in your mind, then you can say yes, I would continue to improve and all that. The third thing, again, to the referees is their training.
Okay.
And me, I always tell them here again, say, when I was active, I trained twice a day. And apart me fear enim kakra no me was some small area be. Me make sure say me exercise be.
Right, we referee Alex Cote ono say penipa at the my Ghana referee no another same nyina area Kotoja na na sebe general pen and say member of parliament at ma Dome Kwadwenya constituency honorable Adwoa so den sem kakra timi ara tuja ni nyina no say my Ghana football abetimi nya no to papa etimi afra dia na obese minister youth and sports honorable Yusuf Mustafa anya ban so mama ni enko ni titu arm wrestling offense on other football fraternities aka ni nyina nkoye my Ghana ye football nko.
This is the first time we've hosted it. I want to urge the private sector. Government cannot do it all. Government cannot do it all. So I was happy when the minister stated that indeed they had a lot of sponsorship or some sponsorship from the private sector, and then he went on to list a few. Mr. Speaker, I think that he should engage more of the private sector to invest in the sector. Mr. Speaker, as a country, we seem to be focusing too much on soccer, but there are other sporting activities. Mr. Speaker, you would agree with me that we're focusing emphasizing or over-focusing on sports. I think that there are other sporting activities that need a lot of investment, like table tennis, long tennis, running, and nowadays the young people are more also interested in the American American sports. So, I will urge the Minister for Sports that we should move a little bit away from the traditional sporting activities that we are putting money into and look at the other emerging sporting activities. I know Nigeria is doing well when it comes to basketball, A lot of their students are getting scholarships to go to study in the United States and in Canada using that route of sporting activity, or basically basketball.
Honorable Adjoa Safwa MP for Dome Kwabrenya constituency and Yetene Council of Nkomo at the Tribunal for Nano Ato. My Ghana, ye football nonsense. Na era so jam ma shebe dwomre die na kopian say Honorable Kwabena Mensa Wyoming ono a ranking member no so den se be na na no atum ne nya o my Ghana football ntuma pa ipese ye na fe so no ye ntuma no enete kama pa enti wasre say minister nso ma na ni nko amresting se na be ya na nse mo amresting aye mo no omko omko boy medals ahọ mo gie no abanhwe se mo na ni enso timi akọ.
Your athletes were not given sufficient support to enable them get ready, prepared for the event. The only savior on the occasion was arm wrestling. And that arm wrestling was what brought us all the numbers of the golds that we won. And unfortunately, arm wrestling is not recognized at the Olympic level and not recognized even at the continental level. However, the managers of it need to be encouraged so that at least we fight to get it recognized at those levels so that we can really be proud to say that yes, we have won gold medals after spending a whooping amount of what, for $245 million.
Yenro mo amona ni nsem na yankɔhwɛ Heroes round of 16 fixtures no timia ba na say NT teams no won be hia mo yanko na ade a ene kopian say Sweden etna fie no ni Italy timi Arabon England against go kwa ni Slovakia ho na fe France and Belgium Peru na say bobo kwa ni Peru etna fie ni Netherlands so no timi aboni sansona German and Denmark or Spain and Georgia Portugal against Slovenia after no Australia and so Turkey and ever course away a round of 16 of Euro 2024 and once them and I'm the amount na ukopiem so Copa America and na anwumre ebo 11 pm Panama and USA man e be see any so na afi ahwe won so metimi qualify timi akonem na transfer nsem ba kwa timi betwem no say Obaka enkana bante no sina kan e Manchester United bante and dey e man si Greenwood okopiem so gate for moji trophy no our league La Liga no akate no Andreas Abenso no abeto biasa brante no prese United pen for mo hwe no mutima no transfer esansan ade a obegire mo si akaya ma Manchester United esa na nyama course no ntino aha ana bre ama mo kwan na agode mo so nyina no Diamond Kase so benya AC and Abedin once again Isaac Danko I'm sorry na menu no sorry Kase nyina etimi akowie.
Hello, Midofo Rose. Diamond Grand Ray Estate 4. And I'm a meniaji say you. And then Misuma your land owner. Say Ebano land promotions in Quadia. Diamond Grand Ray Estate. Ye number 1. Make us say ya promotion air cost of the day. Very huge discount. Yes. And you don't come you don't come me. Dentura. As I say ye 28,000. Ye di about 22,000. Obey my 18,000. Ye di about 12,000 Ghana cedis. Omonsa niya ye genuine. No longer. No litigation. Who pass asia any insuumudia and the insutobre and also auto asase. Intimedia dance say Diamond Grand Ray Estate. Ye number 1. Or more payment plan. I will bet me try and kakra. Promotion where first 10 people ebe beto assassin. Ebenya 10 bags of cement, blocks, any free documentation. Won't pay we now pay. Free one see 0552 487 385.
busiafo yesam obi biara akwaba be magudie mu nsam na yete ye no na aha na ebre pe ma ye kwan na ye de kasebo ni nyina ebeba ne wie na ansa ne ye be kɔ ma ye nhwe nse medi akotene e wo kasebo ne mu Professor Jenna na opoku agyeman e trese bebi biara Ghana mpanyifo behu won ho bia no won kasa entia basabasa yo e wo afi abato ye ba betu e ho
2024 abato a ye betu enye kasa na ye wunwuma a waye wei efri onmonyafo fifi kwete e ho
ye ne ensama hudo bi ene nanwumai ye boabo no a ye de besomo e wo Diamond kase so na akenkanfo enanwumai eye me ma osipanyo me ni menuaba
afia frepom
ye dia seda ebe ma Diamond Ground Real Estate and a place Diamond Ground Travel and so yakram